What's up everybody, it's me, I'm back with another review and I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and look what Santa brought me. It's the first ever live album by Dua Lipa, live from the Royal Albert Hall. And as the title says, the show was recorded at the Royal Albert Hall in London, England, and Lipa was accompanied on stage by the 53-piece Heritage Orchestra conducted by Ben Foster, her 7-piece band and 14 singers. Like I said, I got this as a Christmas present, so I'm only reviewing this album now because I wanted to wait until I got the physical copy, because I'm an old school kind of guy who still collects CDs. But it looks wonderful, doesn't it really? I mean, it's like a vinyl in a smaller format. There you have the album cover. So let me take this out for you. I feel like I'm one of these ASMR artists now. Hello guys, welcome to my channel. So there's this one picture, here's another one, and here's the booklet. Just kidding. With the thank yous and the lists of the musicians. Oh yeah, thank you. Musical director and stylists and lighting design and so on. There you have the credits to all of the songs. And there you have the building. When you see the pictures and when you watch the TV special An Evening with Dua Lipa, I think it's nice to see that side of her, the elegant side. Which I love, because on social media she shows a bit of her naughty side with revealing outfits and stuff, which I don't mind. I mean, come on. But sometimes I also think, is it really necessary? Because I've read some comments on social media where people ask, is she a singer or an OnlyFans model? So, but anyway, this is, I think it's lovely to see her in a beautiful dress and that she focuses primarily on her vocals in the show, because in my opinion, her vocals on the album are flawless. CD 1 or Act 1 as it's called on the album, you can't see anything. I mean, who came up with that? That's the track list. It's the track list, you can't see anything, but yeah, whatever. CD 1 starts with the overture, an intro played by the orchestra, which is how most classical shows usually start. And then the rest of CD 1 is the Radical Optimism album in its entirety, with the exact same order, song order, as on the studio album. So the first song is called End of an Era. So I did a review of Radical Optimism in which I go into detail about each song. So go check it out if you're interested. And what I noticed right away is that the live arrangements aren't that different from the studio recordings. There's some minor changes here and there, but Dua said that that was the intention of the album, that the songs are easy to play live, with the bands. And maybe they could have changed the arrangements a bit more for the show, because it's pretty much the studio recording arrangements with an orchestra playing. So rather than really putting the orchestra in the foreground. So, it was really a gig to showcase the Radical Optimism album. But I think the audience kind of knew what they were getting into. I would have liked to see the show live because I like the album. But it's different when you see an artist on a regular tour and they're mainly playing the new album and you're not familiar with that particular album. It can get quite boring, and just waiting for the hits. Generally speaking, putting a set list together can be a difficult task. I can imagine that as an artist who recorded a new album, you want to play a good chunk of it live, but the audience expects you to play the hits and certain songs from your catalog. What I don't understand though is when an artist has made a new album, only plays 2 or 3 new songs, and that's it. That's what happened when I saw Ellie Goulding the last time, on the last tour. She played 3 new songs from her latest album, and they weren't even singles, and she didn't even mention that these songs were from the latest album. And then you think, why make a new album then? So, and what I also don't understand is when artists play one greatest hits tour after the other, over and over and over again, doing the same thing, playing the same songs, and that would bore me to death after a while, either as an audience member or as an artist. Can you imagine doing the same thing over and over again? So I mean, when you have a catalog of 15 albums, let's say, and you play the same 15 songs every night, I mean, it's like, come on. So Foreigner is a good example. They have been playing the same stuff in the last 15 years or so, and you know what the first song is, you know what the last song is, and you know what the encore is. I don't know that. Why not changing it up after a while? But anyway, I think it's okay if someone plays 5 or 6 new songs and the rest are the things you already know, and that's a good mix, I think. So like I said, the first CD is the Radical Optimism album in its entirety. It starts with End of an Era, and then, it's very difficult to read it, Houdini, Training Season, These Walls, What You're Doing, French Exit, Illusion, Falling Forever, Anything for Love. Anything for Love, if there's one song I like more on this album than the original, it's Anything for Love, which in my opinion is the weakest track on Radical Optimism, because on the studio album it starts as a piano ballad, but then suddenly it turns into a half-hearted up-tempo track, and then it ends after 2 minutes or 30 seconds or so. So whereas on this album it's a piano ballad throughout, and this is how it should be, I think. And on the studio album, it sounds like an unfinished outtake, so quite weird. And then you have Maria and Happy for You. I still think it would be nice to hear the French Exit and Maria in an unplugged format, with just acoustic guitars and some bongos or a cajon or whatever. But that didn't happen at this show. Maybe she will do it on as the tour goes on, because she's been on the road for quite a few months now, and she'll continue the tour next year. So we'll see. CD2 or Act 2. I'm doing my ASMR again. CD2. Let's check it out. Starts with a few songs from Future Nostalgia. You got Love Again, Pretty Please, Levitating. Levitating is one of my highlights of the show. Not only because it's a fantastic track, but also because the arrangement proves what I've been saying for years. When you play it with live instruments and an orchestra, it sounds like a disco funk track from the late 70s. Definitely one of my highlights. And then you have a cover version of Sunshine by Cleo Sol. And I think Dua did a good job, because I can hear a certain soul vibe in her voice. So I freaking love her voice anyway, with that rasp and British accent. So great. And then you have Cold Heart, another highlight for me. Firstly, because it gives the orchestra more time to shine, more space, and because it's live, it gives the track more warmth, whereas the original is obviously a dance track, so a dance remix, whatever. And secondly, there's a guest appearance from the man himself, Elton fucking John, so it's a wonderful, fun moment. And then Be the One is on it, the only song from her debut album. The last 2 songs are Dance the Night and Don't Start Now, and these two go hand in hand and fit perfectly into the live set, as the studio versions were already recorded with live strings, so they didn't have to change the arrangements much. And these 2 songs are the perfect ending to the show. So, bottom line, if you're not a big fan of Radical Optimism, you probably won't be that interested in this album, because it's basically the whole Radical Optimism album, plus 7 tracks from her past and 1 cover song. But of course, if you're a fan of Dua Lipa like I am, you have to add it to your collection. And I think it's a nice way to show that side of her, because playing with an orchestra, it's not something you do that often, right? I mean, playing with a 53-piece orchestra, it's quite a huge undertaking, you know, with all the rehearsals and stuff, you know, and putting the orchestra into a venue, you know, and you have to be on point. You know, everything has to be on point. So I think it's nice that this show was recorded because it was definitely a highlight for her. She said it in an interview, and yeah, I think it's one of those special occasions you want to have on, yeah, on CD or vinyl or whatever. So because it's a rare occasion you do something like this. Maybe she'll never do something like this again. Who knows? But yeah, I think it's a nice way to show that side of her. This was my review of Dua Lipa live from the Royal Albert Hall. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment or subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate it. And thanks for watching.